suppose we'll run through the hurling results. We won't go on for too long because obviously we have gone on for quite a while already. But I suppose the one really to talk about was Cork against Limerick. Cork 2-17, Limerick 22 points. As you said, a good weekend for Cork supporters at half time. It certainly didn't look that way. Limerick were 8 points to the good and looking like the Limerick of the championship really from last year. It looked like they'd really sort of, it didn't look like National League Limerick. It looked more like championship Limerick. But you done the business in the second half. You turned it around and got the win.
Very good win, yeah. Look, it looked pretty bad at half time with the amount of wides we had. We were thinking Galway all over again. We haven't solved the problem at all. But geez, they showed fight in the second half, Cork. Like Patrick Horgan really showed the doubters, me, with 10 points. Very good performance from him. And 4 for play. Very good performance from him. It was a good performance from Cork. But a lot of people are saying we've had the trophy again this season. I'm thinking, have we learned that seriously? Like it's the league, it's the first game. Like, concentrate on the Munster Championship, see if we can win there. So that's going to be the big be on and end all for Cork hurling the next 2 weeks. So good performance from Cork. But a few things I want to say. Robbie O'Flynn, hopefully he gets well soon. 1-1, but he came off with I think it was a broken ankle. I think it was. Hopefully he recovers soon because he had a brilliant performance as well. So hopefully he recovers in time for the championship. And just for the Cork fans that booed Cian Lynch for coming on, disgrace. Why? Like, what did he do? Seriously, it's. I don't know. Really, are we living in a football culture in the G with amateur play? I don't know what it is, but geez, it has to stop now with this. Cian Lynch, but and he took photos with Cork fans at the end of the game as well. So the question why the Cork fans would boo him, I don't know really. But a good win for Cork, but a bit of a negative thought there.
Yeah, like I think from looking online anyway, I think a lot of people were saying it was a section of younger supporters. So hopefully they learn from that anyway and don't do that kind of thing within the GA. Although it does happen though. Like I've been at plenty of Dublin games down the years where, against Meath and Kildare and players are coming on, they get booed. So this isn't a first. Like this happens quite regularly, and you watch plenty of club games, you see abuse being thrown left, right and centre. So I did think there was an element of a lot of people gunning for the Cork fans as well, and I did feel that was a little bit unfair considering it has happened up and down the country for years really. But I suppose the fact it was so visible and it was on TV and it was a player being subbed on like Cian Lynch, and obviously the commentary mentioned it as well, it definitely did bring a lot more light to it, and hopefully it doesn't happen too much. But as you said there, like, I mean, like, obviously you did come back and win, but like it's a difficult one, isn't it? Because you've beaten Limerick plenty of times in the league down the years, but it hasn't really meant that when the championship comes around. So, like, how do you even feel about it? Like, like in some ways it was great to get the victory, and obviously the players celebrating at the full-time whistle and the supporters and everything else, and some of the new lads coming in like Robbie O'Flynn, Declan Dalton looking very good. But as you said there, like, I mean, it's hard to know really, because although Limerick did look very good in the first half, there was a huge drop from them in the second half. Like I think they only scored 5 or 6 points in the second half.
It was, yeah, and it was a huge drop off. Like I said it on my channel when you were on for the hurling preview last week with the question, does the league really matter? And a lot of fans would say before this weekend, no, it doesn't. It doesn't have any relevance on the championship at all. So at the end of the game, yes, it was a good win to get over Limerick, but I'm thinking it's the league, I'm not. I don't really care about. Like, I'm thinking get some players up to match speed. That was the main thing for the league campaign. And what we did actually, we brought in Decky Dalton, very good goal, very well taken goal, and I think that'll give him confidence over the next 2 weeks. I think Brian O'Sullivan had a good enough game. And again, Owen Downey from full back, I thought had an excellent game from playing Rovers. I thought he was very, very good at full back, especially in the second half. Pat Collins played well as well. So, yeah, but you have to take into account as well, that Limerick team, it was mostly a second team Aaron. When you look at David McCarthy in goal, Dermot Burns wasn't playing, Aaron Gillan wasn't playing, Cian Lynch only came on, Garrett Hayward, he went off early, Graham Mulcahy came on as well. So it was a mix and match Limerick team, and we beat them. Look, move on to the next game now against Galway. And try get some more players integrated in. But it's the league. I'm not entirely over the moon with the results. I know it was a good win to get out in front of our massive support there, but at the same time, it is only the League Ireland. Some fans probably need to just calm it a small bit.
Yeah, Richie Ryan also says here, what a game that was. Great performance from both teams. So early on in the season, need to stamp out that behaviour. These players give great sacrifice for their county. Absolutely, yeah. Like, and considering it is an amateur sport, like you don't want to see that type of behaviour going on. Just looking at the other two games that were in Division 1A, so Galway got themselves a win away to Wexford, 23 points to 15, and Clare beat Westmeath 427 to 14 points. Mark Rogers in there with 2-2. You had Aidan McCarthy back on the side. I think David Conroy as well scoring 5 points. So some good positives from Clare. Obviously disappointment from a Westmeath perspective, but then again, we've seen a lot of these results, and even the Tipperary win against Laois probably in the same bracket as well.
Yeah, and we've seen it over the years, aren't does these games really matter? Are they going to tell a lot about these games? Like, there was one particular game where Cork scored 7 goals against Westmeath a few seasons ago, and you're thinking, what are we learning here? It's no offence to Westmeath and Laois and Antrim. I know they put so much into hurling, but like, the end result is inevitable. They're going to get hammered by these teams. And I'm, to be honest, I'm nearly sick of it. And Seamus put up a very good idea as well, to have five division league in hurling, to have like 6 in Division 1 and then 6 in Division 2, and then you'd actually have credible relegation and promotion then, and that will make the league a bit more exciting. Like, it's just not, to be honest, like Division 1A, 1B, literally the same division. Like I said in Seamus' podcast as well, that there was a good system a few seasons ago with Division 1A, that's the main division, and Division 1B, that's the secondary division. And they should have just kept it that way. But they changed it. Again, the GA, why do you need to change it? It just takes the emphasis off the league, and it doesn't really matter at all. Look, it was a good performance, good confidence booster for Aidan McCarthy getting 5 points. But to be honest, I don't think Clare fans would give a jot about the result, to be honest with you. They were expected to win anyway. Yeah, it was a comprehensive win. And as for the other game with Wexford and Galway, I was watching this game as well. Wexford really spurned some chances in the first half of this, and it was difficult to watch, really. It seemed to be the same problem again for Wexford. They had a year on year. They just can't take their chances. And this is a big thing with Wexford, and probably the reason why they can't be up there with one of the top class teams in hurling. That's a big thing. But Galway, a lot of scores on the sheet, so very good, very positive for Henry Shefflin there. Liam Collins, who I think will have a big year coming on, very good performance. Brian Kilcannon showing his football skills as well with a point, so very good performance from him. So good win for Galway, but for Wexford, they need to get their shooting sorted, or else they could have another mediocre year.
Yeah, I did watch the Wexford Galway game as well. Like, I thought it was a fairly uneventful game. There wasn't really too much to report or discuss, really. And as you said there, I think you put the nail on the head, really. The more the game went on, I think the more Galway just started to pull away, and Wexford probably started to lose grip of themselves. Looking at Division 1B, Tipperary beat Laois 232 to 18 points. I suppose, as you were saying there, like, it's hard to judge that kind of a game, because at the same time you're looking at it and thinking, we haven't probably learned too much about Tipperary or Clare in those results. And obviously for those two sides, Laois and Westmeath, I mean, because like even looking at Division 1A as well, like with Westmeath being there, we've got, what is it? They're up there with Cork, Limerick, Galway, Wexford and Clare. I mean, I know they drew at Wexford last year, and they might maybe scrape a draw, but even at that, like we're all sitting there knowing Westmeath are going to get relegated there, like, or they're going to be in the relegation playoffs. So yeah, like, I suppose from a Laois perspective, similar scenario.
And I probably showed in the game, Laois are Drum at Donald Cup team, and Tipperary are the McCarthy team, and that's it really. It's again why these games. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of time for Tipperary. It's a waste of time for Laois. It's a waste of time for us, to discuss these games. And Yeah, we try to be positive about these games, but we know the end result before the ball's thrown in, Aaron. And it's just, it's a pain. It's just a real pain. And I know Anthony Daly is saying Tip could be ones to watch this year, and I think they have outstanding players, no doubt about that. But they didn't learn anything from this game. End of 232 against Leach. Move on to the next game, and yeah, there was a few other interesting games in the week, but yeah, Tipperary, Clare, Nick hit the nail on the head there. Didn't learn anything at all, really.
Yeah, Keane says here, great result for Dublin, drawing with Waterford. You could look at that, but in some ways I actually disagree. I mean, Waterford finished the game with 13 men, and we looked fairly, we were in front sort of going into the closing stages, and Waterford pulled it back and nearly beat us. So in some respects, I look at it and think, like, the score was Waterford 219, Dublin 316 was how it finished there. And yeah, like, there were some positives to take from a Dublin point of view, but again, the thing that's been lacking for Dublin in the last couple of years, in my opinion, really since we won a Leinster title, has been that killer instinct in the final 10 minutes against the big teams. And Waterford, for me, were there for the taking in their own backyard. It's, even beating them, it's a result that maybe wouldn't have meant that much in the context of things, but it would have meant something psychologically moving forward. So, yeah, I was a little bit disappointed that Dublin didn't come away with the win, but a draw at the same time away to Waterford probably isn't the worst result.
It isn't, no one considering Laois and Antrim in the division as well. It's not a bad result, really. And maybe a league title maybe would be nice for Dublin, really. So if you want a league title, if you're gunning for the league, that is, I think this could be a setback of a result, really. You need to get in the top two to have a chance. And if you beat Waterford, you realistically would have been on 6 points heading into the Kilkenny and Tipperary game. So that would have been nearly half the job done. So, yeah, I think Dublin will have some regrets about this game. Waterford's quite interesting. Stephen Bennett's 2 goals came from penalties. Most of them came from placed balls as well. So they didn't really cover themselves in glory. Waterford. Dublin, I thought, were looking at the highlights anyway, looked pretty attacking and they looked threatening at times of the game. And yeah, I think there'll be good confidence booster. Keane O'Sullivan looks a good young player coming in. Donald Burke still looks as good as ever. Alex Constantine, very good corner forward. So, yeah, there are some positives for Dublin bringing new players, but I'd agree with you. Probably is a point dropped more than a point gained for Dublin. Especially if they're going to challenge for a league title, if they wish to do so, of course.
Yeah, and Keane Boland obviously finishing with 3 points as well, 1 man of the match. So that was good to see from a Dublin perspective. And then it was Antrim 15 points, Kilkenny 118, Billy Drennan scoring 1-8, really putting his mark up. Obviously, we were discussing on your own show during the week in terms of maybe what new players could be introduced. And Billy Drennan, he was top scorer in the under-20 hurling championship last year, comes into the Kilkenny senior side, scores 1-8. And yeah, I mean, probably not, maybe, only a 6-point win away to Antrim. It's a hard game to judge in terms of that, where did Antrim play that well or did Kilkenny maybe struggle at times? But I suppose the main story there is that the Kilkenny production line is not slowing down anytime soon.
It is no, and we were saying on the podcast as well last week that Kilkenny still have some very good players and they're kind of going in under the radar this year. As regards to this game, I think it was dominated by the weather, really. I know it's an excuse and stuff like that, but it looked terrible up at Gargan Park, and it was struggling for scores and all that. It was just for Kilkenny to get out of there, get the win. That was the main objective for Kilkenny. They're playing Tipperary next week, which should be more looking forward to that game, actually, because 2 interesting sides, Kilkenny under Derek Ling and Tipperary under Liam Cal, both under new management, both have new players coming into the panel, exciting players like Billy Drennan, like Darrell O'Connor, so very good. Very excited about that game. But for this game, look, Antrim will take some positives. Looking at some of the game on BBC Northern Ireland, was in and out of the game, to be honest with you. And it looked like Antrim missed a few chances to take the lead in some parts of the game. So they'll be, they'll regret those misses. But at the same time, look, Kilkenny will move on to next week against Tipperary. And this game was just getting out of Cork Park and win, and they did that.
Yeah, and just finishing up then with some Division 2 results. So big win for Kildare away to Carlow, 25 points to 11. Quite a statement win there by Kildare in many ways. Derry got beat by Kerry, 14 points to 222. and Offaly getting the win away to down 21 points to 18. Matthew, cheers very much for coming on. Obviously, I was on your show during the week, so I suppose if anyone's looking to check out your own podcast, your own show, where can they find you?
Yeah, it's on YouTube, GA Statsman. If you just search that, search it on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook. Be it TikTok work as well. So search it on Google as well, and my own website up as well about stats on games and stuff like that as well. Going back all the way to 2019. So if you can check that out, that'd be absolutely brilliant.
Perfect, Matthew. Well, cheers very much for coming on, and if people could hit the like button, subscribe, be very much appreciated. And cheers everyone for coming on.